Okay, fake pips coming up. Pip, pip, pip. Here we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday evening BATC QO 100 net with G4XAT, your host tonight. Volunteers welcome if you'd like to have a crack at doing this. There's no special skills required. And with Martin moving on to other things, I also have a few busy Thursdays lined up, unfortunately. So anyone who can pop up and have a crack at it would be very welcome. There's a thread on the forum if you'd like to join in or just speak. Okay, very hot here, as it probably is in most of the country. And nice to see Rob on again this evening, stroke portable. I wonder if there's any lift around with that nice big high pressure, or whether it's just a nice day up there on the North York moors. I had a very busy weekend working on taking out a kitchen and putting part of a kitchen back in. 3.5 days of intensive, long, laborious days, but that bit's done, and then there's another bit to do sometime in August. Okay, running order is as published. I'll run through that in a moment. The garden is suffering a bit from the drought, the vegetable garden. I don't bother watering grass. But we did pick 2.4 kilograms of red currant today, which from 2 bushes is an incredible crop. That's a 50% increase on what we managed last year, and I can put it down to the fact that the pollination weather when they were flowering was really good, and they got visited lots by flying insects. No radio really, although I did try and work out why my pump up mast wouldn't pump up this afternoon. Leaking like a sieve. It's a high-low. If anyone's worked with a high-low and worked out what goes wrong with them, I've got the exploded diagram of it. Nothing obvious. It seems to have an O-ring and a PTFE strip like a piston ring, and it's hissing away and gurgling and not going up. I've checked the outer barrel dimensions, and it hasn't swollen due to frost damage or anything like that. Oh, I guess I'll have to take it to bits and have a look. But SMC want nearly 500 quid for a service kit, so I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, running order. Round to G8 GKQ and then M0 DTS/P, followed by G7 JTT. Slightly QRP, but hopefully okay, and the rest is on the chat. If anyone else wants to join, just pop it up there and I'll amend the running order. So round to you then, Dave. G8 GKQ from G4XAT. Over.
G4XAT, G8 GKQ. Very good evening, everybody. In contrast to Gareth, done a fair bit of radio this week. Last Friday I went across to Roy G8CKN's QTH and did some work on GB3HV. After another couple of days of work, we managed to get the thing on the air for Tuesday's net, and last night I managed to get, that was a stream only net essentially. Last night I managed to get one of the receivers working, and the other one is still unknown status, but the 77 input now works on GB3HV, and Roy's working on the rest of the system, so a major step forward. New repeater on the, or not a new repeater, an old repeater back on the air. The other thing I've been doing is looking at the Tiltomatic. I bought all the bits to make a Tiltomatic, and thanks to Gareth today I've now got my head around how the bits go together. but by the time I'd done that this afternoon, it was far too hot to go outside and chop wood. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to go out and mark up and do some plywood cutting for it tomorrow. In the shack, I've been playing with the Portsdown 5, which you can see over my right shoulder. Trying to get it in the stage where it is releasable. Up till now, it's been very much an only for me project, because nothing in it worked as it should. But today I managed to add software update functionality to it. That's right, that was an update that I'm testing, just having a bleep because it's finished. Added software update functionality to it. And there's a few more bits before I can release it, but it's getting towards release time. This weekend is the Michael Rally. That is at Bracknell this time. It's a new venue, and that's on Sunday. There will be a BATC stand there, so hopefully get some people to come and see us, and there'll be a demo of some ham TV ISS receive equipment as well. And the other thing I've been planning for, of course, is CAT 25 on the 3rd of August. The dinner is now fully booked, and tickets are going well on sale on the BATC shop, so please sign up. Okay, that's my 5 minutes. I'll only come on once tonight. I want to turn all the kit off in the shack because it's getting too hot. Good to see everybody on, and I'll be watching G8 GKQ round to M0 DTS Portable, and hope it's a nice evening up there, Rob.
Receiver rebooted there, that's not a good thing. I switched the transmit on and spiked the 12 volt. Interesting. Okay, right, let's see. So I can't monitor myself at the moment, so stand by. See. Right, is it working? Let me just check. Yeah, it's okay. Excellent. Right, well, you've got a live feed there from, I don't know how far it is. It's probably only about 4 or 5 kilometres, but that's the top of Rosebery Topping, which is very close to, well, not far from Middlesbrough really, but not far from Great Ayton and Kildale. I'm not far from Kildale as well. But it's very popular for walkers up there, and it's often done quite late at night to get a really good sunset, which is what I'm seeing at the moment. So I'm sure they'll be up there till sunset, I'm pretty sure of that. But there's a lot up there tonight. It's the most I've seen when I've been out, I think. That's pretty good. So yeah, that camera's outside in the breeze. It's not doing too bad of a job really. Switch the other one. We'll go on the inside camera. The audio should be a bit better from this one, hopefully. There we go. Yeah, we're on HDMI switch and kind of semi-automated Pluto and encoder box and things like that at the moment. So I've got a box which has got 2 HDMI inputs and then a Raspberry Pi Pico on the network that will contain network in the box to control it all. Little project I've been working on for a while. It's just automating a setup that I already had, but it's basically what it looks like. Encoder, HDMI encoder box, a Chinese encoder, Pluto Plus, just because that was spare at the time, a network switch and a HDMI switch. So I've got all the controls on there, and then I can switch between the HDMIs on here, so I can switch over to quad screen. You should still hear my audio off this one, I presume. Yeah, and then I'll go back to channel number 1, which is the this camera. So So yeah, we're all full HDMI, not that it's the best encoding off the encoder box, but if you go up quite high, well, if you go up to like a mega symbol or half a meg or something, it's really good. Or higher encoding on 333, it's really good. So kind of running with this for the moment. We'll see how it goes. What else? I made a few notes here. Yeah, I'll be looking for HV. That's on my list to catch that one, because I never saw HV from the old location. I don't know whether it was maybe partially blocked to the north, but it's never made it up to the North Yorkshire Mirrors as far as I'm aware of. But I think Terry at KM, I'm sure he's seen it in the past, but I've never seen it myself. But I have a feeling since I've been on, I think HV's mainly been off, so I think that's possibly why. But while I've been doing a lot more portable, which is probably like 2010, 2012 onwards, really. I'm doing a lot more portable with TV, so probably then, I would imagine. I know it's a bit late now, but cracking weekend down at Finley for the microwave round table there. That was excellent. Really good weekend. What else have we got? I've been working on some more antennas for KM, so it's a few more tests to do on them, and then I'll be going up to Terry to revamp the 6SEMs and 23SEMs antennas. Other stuff, not been doing a lot really, it's just pottering about with the same things really, I suppose. Bit of VLF on 8 kHz, receiving the German station DL3GMM. He's been quite regularly active down there on 5 kHz, 8 kHz and 2.9 and thing. What else? That's probably about it. I've been playing around with the 8.4 gig stuff as usual, but I've got some LNA issues. It doesn't seem quite as sensitive as it used to be, so got a bit of work to do on that. But yeah, I just came up because it was a nice evening. Finished work early and decided it was perfect evening to go up here, so I'm just sat here looking at the view. So if I turn the camera around from the shack, basically, there's a load of kit down in the bottom there in the rack, but I've still got the ports down there with ports down receive on. That box there is the dual 6-way antenna switch, just for that kind of IF and amplifier feeds. 2.4 gig amp, 70 SEMS amp, 23 SEMS and 9 SEMS amp right in the bottom there. Dish controller on the roof. That's the other rotator controller for the mast, and then 2-meter talkback. So, but yeah, that's the view out of the van at the moment. This camera doesn't quite have as good dynamic range, I don't think, as the other one. But looking round, that's looking round onto the moors at Carlton and round to Faceby. Baysdale is where I'm at, and I'm just looking round over North Yorkshire and round that way into Teesside, and then in the distance obviously County Durham, and in the way in the distance there you've got the Pennines. So it's pretty clear tonight. You could probably see the peaks over in Cumbria, I would imagine. Cleared up a bit, but yeah, I've got the other camera. So I'm on this Panasonic camera in the shack in the van, and then there's the other Panasonic cameras out there on the tripod, and that's the one with the mega zoom that's doing all the optical DX, I suppose you could call it. But yeah, switch to that one. There's a little pan around on there, and then who's it round to next? I'll talk to John. Okay. I seem to be doing okay signal wise anyway. Staying in. Oh yeah, they're all congregating around the tree point. But yeah, you've got Rosby topping just the top of it I can see from here, and there's then local ground which then leads up to the top of here. If I pan around slowly and try and get it in shot, A bit more. This camera stand isn't great. Let's just try and get that in the centre. You've been here before, some of you have already seen this, but that's the monument for Captain Cook. So, there doesn't seem to be any people up there, or at least I can't see any at the bottom, so. And that's what zoom are we on there? Alright, yeah, it's in the digital zoom there. 72 times optical and then it goes digital after that. So yeah, this camera, Colin, by the way, is the HC-V210. That's the one. It's not a magic number, but HC-V numbers are pretty good. But yeah, as you can see, it's a reasonable distance away. If I take this off, try and go quicker because I know I'm in 10 minutes already, waffling away. But, yeah, it's a nice sort of view around here. It leads up to higher ground up there, but it doesn't really matter for QO 100. This is just a convenient point to stop. So there's a dish on the roof, as you know, the smiling dish. And then it's just the same old feed and everything that we've been using for a while. Nothing's changed there. Yeah, nothing new. But, just put this back down. Rubbish camera work, isn't it? I keep saying I need to work on that, but let's see. Right. Let's go back to that camera, and yeah, I haven't got my overlay for my /P, have I? I need to automate the generation of that logo in the corner so it does the /P when I'm portable. Right, well that's my 10 minutes. Sorry about that. But I won't have another over. I'll watch for a bit and then probably head on back. It's a bit early to see any noctilucent clouds. They're kicking around about 2 in the morning at the moment for the last few nights. But I've missed all of them with having to sleep and get up for work and things like that. Shorts, yeah, you're right. It does happen sometimes. It's going to be happening for 4 days here, I think. Right, round to you, John. G7JTT M0DTS portable on the North Yorkshire Moors near Kildale, and the locator is India Oscar 94 Lima Lima 31. So there we have it. 730.
Right, let's see if anybody can actually receive us. Have I got audio? Right. Yes. Let's get rid of that. Oh, wrong button, that's why. Yeah, right. Good evening all. Yeah, it looks lovely up there, Rob. I actually found the place. We were out driving back from somewhere the other day, and I found a huge, great big lay-by. I've no idea why it's so large, but anyway, it's got some hedges there, but it's pretty high up. It's got fairly good clear takeoff, so I've made a note of where it is. I've just reminded myself actually to remember to actually look and see how good it is, whether it be any good or not. Anyway, but yeah, as always, stunning pictures from up there. Yeah, I don't think it's anywhere quite as high around here, is there? So anyway, such is life. Finley, yes, thoroughly enjoyed Finley. Hats off to everybody that was involved in setting it up. First time I've been there, absolutely loved it. The junk, as it was affectionately called, shed, whatever you want to call it, yeah, I spent a lot more than I was expecting to spend in there, because there was so much stuff in there that you just thought, well, yeah, I could use that, yeah. Anyway, it's all been good stuff, and some of it, well, not some of it, all of it was well worth getting. So thoroughly enjoying it, and the catering was second to none. Lots of stuff I could eat as well, which was really good. What else have we done? Yeah, I've not been around for a while. Unfortunately, I got epoxy COVID. I think it was probably got at the Finley weekend, but not from the actual Finley. I think it was from the pub that we had the meal, and it was very, very crowded in there. Lots of young lads and lasses, very, very intoxicated, etc. Yeah. Anyway, it's pretty much gone now, which is good. Just sorry, it's gone cue. Just the occasional tickly coughed a bit now, which is just annoying more than anything else. What else have we done? Right, radio-wise, SAQ. I'll bore you quickly with it. I'll only just do a quick bit on that. But if I go across to here, this was the recording I made of it. So there's SAQ there, and if this comes out, it's not the purest of tones, it is a bit wobbly, but plenty enough above the noise, and that was just a temporary setup in the garden with one of my probes. Let's do that. So anyway, there we go. So pretty pleased to be able to get it. It's first time from here, so that was pretty cool. I don't know why, but I've watched too much to YouTube. I know I do, and I kind of for a while now I've been wanting to make one of these shrimp tanks where you get like these little exotic shrimps and stuff in there, and you just it's just like an eco tank type thing. Anyway, I've started to do one, and if I change over, there's the live view in there. There's not a lot in there at the moment because there shouldn't be anything in there, because all that's in there is the substrate, some rocks and some plants. But I bought the plants from a fairly large aquarium shop a few days ago, and I started noticing things in the water stream. And what I've noticed is that there are some what appear to be water fleas in there. There are some little tiny tube worms, and there's also this fella, which if I quickly go down to here, this, I've actually used my microscope camera to do it, but I reckon that is probably only a millimetre across, like in the long ways, and probably half a millimetre, sorry, a millimetre long and half a millimetre wide. I don't know how well it's going to come across on the picture, but you can see every last bit of it. It's munching away on that dead old leaf there, and all the white stuff you can see there is basically it's poop, and you can actually see a piece. It's incredible, and there's loads of them in there. So actually, I'm not going to get anything for a while. I'm just going to leave the tank as is, and see how long it takes them to get to a reasonable size. There we go. So that's pretty much it, really. Still haven't done anything to progress the radios from this end. It's just been too warm. It's just ridiculously hot. I can't deal with it. I never did like the heat. It's being a larger than most chap, it doesn't help, but it doesn't help now that I've got certain things hanging off my bellies now and whatnot. But anyway, it's a few more days, school holiday starts, and we all know what's going to happen. It's going to pee down for the next 5 or 6 weeks. So I'm looking forward to the rain. We did actually have some rain. It was a whole day it rained, but I don't think we got more than probably a couple of cupfuls, if that. So there we go. Right, rain's Colin, G4KLB, G7JTT.
G7JTT, G4KLB. Can he get to the volume control in time? Yeah, just about, I think. Just about. Now I've got to get back over here to get a picture. There we are. I need one of those controllers that Rob's got, really, don't I? Okay, thank you for that that number of the camera. That's very useful indeed. I favour this. I say this Panasonic here is an old faithful, and I do like that, and I do use these portable as well. I've got a couple of those that just because I like this one so much. It hasn't got quite the optical zoom of the other one, but of Rob's one. But there we are. I'll have a look out for those, because I doubt they're going to be terribly expensive these days, as everyone wants all fancy stuff. Right, okay, there we go. So yeah, so that's very good. What have I been doing? Well, I've been looking at VLF, and I'm going to build one of these probes as well. I've never seen SAQ. It's one of my things that I want to do. It's a difficult environment here. In fact, it's virtually impossible. However, that makes it more interesting in a way. So I'm going to try and do that. I suspect if I went out with a laptop and some bits, I would have more success, and somewhere a little bit quieter potentially. I was reasonably confident that two occasions ago I was going to get it, because I'd worked out the direction, and it's just over there actually. Well, it's a fair distance that way, but it's that way, through the shack. So we were on the right side. So I set up a loop and everything, and I thought, well, that should be a piece of cake, this. However, not a sausage. Or anything else for that matter. Nothing at all. So it's one of the things I want to do. I don't know why I'm interested, but I am. So probably John's influence. Okay, right. Okay, thank you. I still don't worry about that. That's an SQ legacy. If I explain all that, it'll take too long. I was going to say I see Richard testing. But he's on the list now, so that's very good. So I didn't see you on the list before, but there, obviously, there you are. There, everything's working well, so that's good. Okay, right. Okay then. I still have issues with Dave GKQ's signal on using the Winter Hill receiver, which I tend to mainly use for QO100. It's just an easy way for me to do it. I've got 2 Winter Hills going, and that gives me up to 8 pictures, which works pretty well. But it doesn't decode that quite so well. I believe that on other mechanisms, I've been meaning to set up on an alternative arrangement here. I have got actually something else set up here. I've been attempting to receive HV. It's a bit of a long shot from here, but that makes it more interesting, really. I can't remember if originally it transmitted on 23 SEMS. I had an idea it didn't, but I may be wrong. I thought it was 3.5 or 3.4 gigs or something, and I remember buying well, I've still got it, an LMB and such like to do that for when I was a little bit nearer. But I never quite managed to do that. I did take it out with me once, but I never had the time to do it. So HV was, I could get into it on occasion, but it was difficult from here. Potentially, even though this might be further away, it's the path is not as bad, but it's still going to be a bit of a challenge. And what I'm missing is my usual aerial system. I've had to take all my aerials down and put the repeaters aerials up, because that is the optimum spot. So it's a job. But I have got 2 Yagis that used to receive SQ where it used to be, one for transmit, one for receive. And that worked very well because I could get look through on that, etc. and so I've moved them around to where the new HV location is. And I have made a discovery. I have discovered that I've got a preamp that's not working, which is a shame, so I've got to try and fix that, which is tricky because I don't think you can get all the bits anymore. But I've got yes, I've got two setups here. One is on Minitune and the other is on a Portsdown 4. The Portsdown 4 one isn't turned on at the minute because I've pinched the preamp out of that, so that's you know, I could tell straight away that something was wrong. That's a bit more right. It's only a single stage preamp, this one, so you would get a little bit more noise if you got both stages going. But before I had nothing, it was just sat on -100, and I thought that's not right, even whether you put the voltage on or off. But now you see, if I turn the voltage to the preamp off, you can see it drops back down. So that tells me that the preamp, put it back on, the preamp is actually working. So we'll be in a better spot now. I did have a setup about a year ago. I had it set up one aerial on band viewer and one aerial on another Portsdown actually at the time. But I've shoved it in here because I can. That give me a clue. Just as well I did, because I might have missed the fact that the preamp wasn't working. Well, I think I did actually, and so we shall see. We shall see. I don't believe HV's aerials are at full height just yet. There's still work in progress, but each day gets a bit better, so that's very good. So so if people have not had success, you need to try again when things are fully going, because if you're not getting it now, that doesn't mean you won't get it at all. The QTH has got a lot of trees around it, and I believe the mast is only at half height at the minute while work is being undertaken, etc. And so the trees are going to have a significant effect, I would almost certainly. So if you don't get it like now, then try again a little bit later once it's sort of everything's done, because I think you might be surprised. So that's very good. Yeah, it's a challenge from here. It's very difficult, and difficult with SQ as well, because we're only 4 megahertz apart, our transmit frequencies, and so that isn't going to work. You're not going to filter that out, particularly when we're doing 4 mega symbols. So we're going to be sort of yeah, it's just impossible. So you're never going to link the two repeaters, that's for sure. But nonetheless, that's it doesn't. It's exciting anyway. Yes, I see. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Oh, hang on. What did you say? What were you planning to? Oh, okay, okay. Right. I'm not sure what Roger's trying to tell me. I might have to go back up. I'll re-go through the chat a little bit later. So I think I probably missed something or another. Right. Okay then. Where's it going to now? Let's have a look. See. And make sure I get the right one. After Mike G0MJW to take it. G4KLB.
Good, it's working. I was a bit worried because it's not been tested and I'm using a different system, but all copied now. Okay, GKQ, right, that's what the LF probe was for. Right, what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, a few things I've been doing. One thing I've been not doing is getting into HV, unfortunately. Tried again earlier, but I think the path's no good for me. We will see, maybe with the antenna higher, but I suspect it's not going to work. It's quite a different direction. It's 20 degrees different from the old HV, and that puts it into the local hill. I mean, the hills along the path are pretty similar, but it's the local ones tend to be the most significant when you're doing these things. Now, I had a picture here which I was going to show you, which is this, and this is the QO100 PA and driver, and to the left of it you can't see there's a Pluto providing the signal, this temporary setup was installed in 2019, but there's a new bit, which is the bit in the foreground, which is the Ethernet relay box, the Modbus thing which I've been talking about. So we'll stop showing you pictures of that and we'll go to something else. Simon's going to laugh now, but this is the this is what I've been fiddling around with in Visual well, what's it called? Visual Studio 2019, and I've been forced to, unfortunately, write stuff in this funny thing called C#, which anyway, but I managed to find a way to do it not in C#, but in a proper language eventually. However, some of it's in C#, which is very odd and contrary to what you would expect. But yeah, this is C, by the way, not C#. So what that is then, and this is where I need to get to the turn that on. There we go. Turn that one off. Swap over. Hopefully you can see that. That is what I have in terms of the software, and I'm not going to press any of the buttons because it'll change things. So I can measure the forward power and the reverse power, and I can control the PTT, and the reason for that is if I'm using Pluto, then it controls the PTT, but if I'm using Libra SDR, either with a small or a big S, it doesn't. So I need to have a big button to switch it on and off, and if I press that button it will switch on the PTT, but the other button that says Pluto PTT is basically connecting the Pluto's PTT in parallel with that PTT, so it works anyway. It's just a relay, so you can do that. So that's what I've been up to, and if you can see me, then it's working, and if you can't see me, well, you're not listening. So there we go. So that's what I've been up to. Nothing else particularly significant to talk about, I think, but if I remember, I hope I'll remember, I will see people at McMichael. I've not had a chance to put together anything for sales really, which is a pity because I've got loads of things to get rid of. I've got far too much stuff now and I need to cut it back because of changes and things that are going to be happening in terms of storage space for a bit, so I really need to do something about that, but there you go. Mostly microwave stuff though, so not of interest to most people. Okay, who's next? Simon, G4ELI, and I will test the software, Simon, when I get the chance. Didn't have the chance today. Anyone coming to Oxford intending to use the bus? Don't. G0MJW.
So here we go, G4ELI, and switch over. So good evening everybody, Simon here. Had a frustrating week as I've been about my development computer until yesterday when it came back from being repaired. Power supply had gone flaky, and as it was all under guarantee I decided to have it done at no cost. Been working, well, the worst thing also last week, I managed to get myself gout again due to dehydration, not due to imbibing. That has been a pain in the foot. But fortunately, the right medication, ibuprofen, and eating. I do eat a very good diet anyway, so it is going down now. But that really is a pain in the neck, or in the foot. As with everybody else, weather's been glorious, and it's not been too hot down here. It's been very, very, very pleasant, about 21, 22 degrees. So it really has been lovely. I'd much rather have that than the much higher temperatures up country or on the continent. Now then, what was I going to say? Yes, I've been working on software, of course, as I always do. Found a very serious memory allocation in STR television. It was allocating about 10 gigabytes of memory, which it wasn't using, which could have been a reason for it freezing on smaller computers with not so much RAM, say 8 gig or even 4 gig of RAM. It should have worked okay. In fact, it was just virtual memory that wasn't in use, but it was good to find that. And also I must apologise, I haven't set the lip sync up. I must do that. Anyway, I've got a new PC which I'm building from bits. I'll bore you with photos of that next week, but my goodness, what you can do for about £1,000 these days is staggering, absolutely staggering. And I've also been I've been here 11 years now, and I haven't thrown away any cardboard boxes. So up there, the side, I've got a bungalow, and I've got roof space, same size as the bungalow, full of cardboard. So I've been throwing away cardboard. And the recycling was today, and we have a couple of girls, and they came round, so I gave them an almighty amount of cardboard and some chocolates. Regarding GHEKQ signal, I had no issues with it whatsoever. Very nice, very good audio, so I really can't complain about that at all. Very, very, very nice. I don't think I'll stay for a second round. I may or I may not, Gareth. I'll let you know. I'll just wait and see how things go. Getting a bit tired. So, just looking at the quality of the image I'm seeing on the computer. For reasons I don't properly understand, my video encoder is working better than it has been doing in the past. I don't get it. It could be a light that I've got up there. Anyway, let's now go to, where are we going? Let's go down to Spain. Over to you, Mike. EA7KIR G4ELI. G4ELI.
Well, first of all, you might notice the lighting's a bit odd. Everything was working, and because the lights are a little bit bright in my eyes, I switched them off, and only one's come back on. So the key light up there is dead. The remote control is alive. It says the battery's full, but it's not responding. Oh, another problem. So, yeah, it's one problem after another, isn't it, in this game. Love to see North Yorkshire, Rob. I really appreciate that. As I said last week, the only thing I miss about England is Yorkshire, because I am from Yorkshire, and I lived in North Yorkshire, but not quite as north as you. I was I was only in North Yorkshire by about 100 metres. I was on the north side of Otley, and just on the right side of the border to be in North Yorkshire and not in Leeds. Although we paid Leeds, did we pay Leeds rates? Oh, I can't remember. Anyhow, we were definitely in North Yorkshire. That's the important thing. So, just before we came on air, apart from the light was working, but too soon to the time that we all start going. In other words, round about an hour before or so before we start the net, I decided to update the software in the receiver, in the and in the the server on the roof. I updated the operating system. I upgraded my version of Go, because all the software is written in Go. It jumped about 3 or 4 points, I think, and recompiled everything, including Longmind, because there were some of the OS updates had libraries and things. I didn't know what I don't know whether they affected Longmind, but I recompiled that anyhow, and it all works. It's amazing. I was quite surprised actually, but it's a stupid thing to do, isn't it? You know, an hour before you're going to do a net, when I've had a whole week to do it. But it worked, so that's quite good. Which is more than you can say for the other software I'm writing, which I won't even talk about because it's so boring. And that's why I'm resorting to doing these kind of things. So I think that's probably about my 5 minutes. I can't think of anything else to say except it's hot. I still haven't got my car repaired. As a matter of fact, I've got an appointment at last for tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, which is a Friday, which probably means all they're going to do is look at it and not actually do anything with it, because the air conditioning isn't working, and because of that I'm very reluctant to go out at all, because it's so you know, it's impossible actually. It's getting a bit boring actually, because if it's going to be like, well, it is going to be like this all summer. It's almost like COVID actually, you know, having to stay in. It's not pleasant. I do consider moving a bit further north, but it's a nice idea, but we all know how much hassle it is trying to move house, especially when it's like 1,000 kilometres away. In other words, I'm on the bottom of Spain and the north I'm talking about is right at the top. So it will be about 1,000 kilometres, I think. So you can't sort of pop around at weekends or anything, you know, you've got to get a flight, which is quite easy to do, providing you don't get arrested in the airports, which I tend to do. Can't keep my mouth shut, that's the problem. Okay then, so where are we going now? We're going to Keith, GU6EFB from EA7KIR in Spain. Oh, when I come back on the second over, I'll show you some H266 that I received today, which quite surprised me, and I have a question for that, so I'll talk about that on the next over, because I've been on long enough now. So over to you, Keith. Over to you.
Yeah, EA7KIR, GU6EFB. Yeah, very good evening to everyone from a very hot and sticky Guernsey. Yeah, nice view there of the beach, which is quieting down now, but absolutely gorgeous out there today. Yeah, I was working outside and yeah, I kind of got too hot and I'm suffering just a little bit now, and yeah, probably didn't drink enough and whatever, and I've got a splitting headache which isn't helping. Anyway, yeah, Gareth, BATC net control. I don't mind helping out and taking a Thursday if it helps. I don't really want to do every Thursday, but I certainly don't mind helping out and doing at least one, maybe two, if it helps everybody. I've been working hard on my ports down 4. I might bring it with me to Cat 25 so everyone can have a laugh and tell me what I've done wrong, which will be good. I've been sorting out all my antennas. They're all sorted and working now, so I've got 4, 6, 2, 70 and 23 at 80 feet, all fed with HELIAC, so hopefully we can try squirting some signals in the not too distant future into the UK and the continent. And Mike, interested in that Modbus, I wonder which controller you're using there, if that's kind of an AliExpress, eBay special there. Anyway, I think it goes round to Richard now. Oh, didn't mean that. Yeah, round to you there, Richard from GU6.
GU6CFB with the BATC net, GI4DOH. Yep, the mail coming through. Just looking at my signal, I think I can drop that a wee bit. A lot of messing about, sort of slightly stronger than the beacon. How am I doing? About 10 amps. I can maybe reduce a little bit more. I hope that's enough for everybody. Yeah, the fans are firing up there. Yeah, it's been a busy day. It's been a busy week. I rebuilt my my PC just before heading off to Friedrichshafen. I've been messing about with the PC, screwed it up. I tried to do a Windows repair, and 97% of the way through the repair it locked up and then wouldn't even reboot. So that's the old drive, which is perfectly intact. I took the opportunity to upgrade with the latest one of those, a little bit faster, and also 2 terabytes, and the rest, and rebuilt the thing. But it's just getting all the apps that have accumulated over the years onto it, and then configuring them. I've had OpenTuner working from the middle of last week, but I could not get I could not get BATV easy to start up, and I ended up reloading it because I've got that drive of technically all the .ini files and configuration files and the rest, but there's more to it than just copying the files over. So I reloaded BATV easy earlier, but I actually found I could plug in a C920 camera and I could go straight to BATV easy with fire up. So it was all to do with the virtual camera on OBS, and I messed about in the rest with the droid type thing, and a little while after the net started, I reloaded all the droid cam stuff, and that was all it needed. I did reload all the droid cam stuff a couple of days ago, but I think I'd reloaded OBS Studios as well. So as far as I know, just checking, yes, the audio is still there. So I think that's all that's sorted out. I notice my power is dropped a little bit, so just bring it up there. Because so much has changed, I'm not really sure where I am. But anyway, yes, hot even in Northern Ireland, sort of 25 or more degrees today, but nothing to what Friedrichshafen was Tuesday before last. We arrived on the Tuesday evening, and it really was a shock to the system just how hot it was. None of us slept particularly well that night, but we were sort of acclimatized, and the rest. What you were saying, John, about you not liking the heat, I'm the other way around. I get used to the heat. It's cold I don't like, because the circulation then stops in fingers and toes and the rest. But heat's I can cope with. Could do a little bit more of it. So yeah, potted about in the garden earlier, and even simple tasks like pulling a few weeds, the sweat would be pouring off. And you got to take my word for it. That was a cold, refreshing drink of blackcurrant. There will be something stronger later on, made from apples, but fermented, etc. So looking forward to that later. None of the usual clan from Northern Ireland, Bill and Robert, aren't there. Don't see Dom's not on the net. I know he's around because we've exchanged a couple of WhatsApp messages in the last half hour or so. So it could well be they're incognito on the side. So looking forward to the Cat 25. I've got to book flights and the rest. I'll try and do that over the next couple of days. It's getting a bit busy with the CDXC convention week after next in Bicester, and then Islands on the Air the following weekend, where I'll be on Rathlin Island off the sort of northeast coast of Northern Ireland. For that, I'll be running the CW station there, and then there are other things. Yeah, it's the first weekend in August, so pretty busy 3 weekends in a row. So that's enough for me for the time. I don't think of anything else other than I did notice that there was an update to Winterhill to enable the buttons on it. I actually built the buttons into my Winterhill when I built it, so I must say about loading the latest software onto it. I have to go in and manually sort of kill the Raspberry Pi every time I go to shut it down on Thursday night, so it'd be nice to be able to use the push button. So enough for me. I'm happy to just call it a day at this. It's been a long day, and I need to hide in a darkened room or something like that. So I wish you all 7 threes. I should be around, it should be around next Thursday, all been well. So back on to you, Gareth. G4XAT with the BATC net, GI4DOH.
Okay, thanks Richard. G4XAT and the net. I wonder if we hit 100 viewers. If I'm squinting a bit, it's because the sun is now below the blinds, and I've lifted the blinds. It's just about to set here. Okay, well that's a busy old net. Nice to see the Potsdam 5 is getting close. I was going to build a third packaged Potsdam 4, but I think I might put a 5 in there instead and see what I get. Anyway, we'll see. Looking forward to that. Well done on VLF. 5 and 8 kilohertz. I'm amazed there's much down there. I shouldn't think sticking earth rods in is much good anywhere in the country at the moment. And while I was away doing the kitchen work, we had over an inch of rain here, and already, so that was probably Saturday or Sunday, already the garden is gasping. Like the vegetables, the beetroot was wilting today. I had to water that, and so on and so on. Nice view. It's a very good zoom on that camera, Rob. I don't use video camera much these days, but I have got one with quite good zoom. Can't remember what it is. Maybe it's 70 times or something like that. It's certainly pretty stunning. And then, as yours does, it goes digital. And the Captain Cook Monument. Well, that's a long way from the sea. Glad, John, you found a decent car park. Hopefully you can go and play radio from there and get into some good places. What I find disheartening, you think, oh, that would be a good spot, and you pop the Google Man on the road and have a look, and it's covered in trees or whatever. So there we are. Temperature in my shack, 25 degrees at the moment. That's with the air source heat pump. It's not on full, it's just ticking over. And out, it's actually cooler outside, but then that's the curse of a loft room. Glad Finningley went off well, a bit too far for me. And That's a good recording of SAQ. Shows what can be done when you're not swamped with RF noise, doesn't it? That's nice. And was that your pond or a fish tank, John? And we've got a little pond in the garden here, and when we first filled it up, we had water boatmen in it and pond skaters, and that was like 29 years ago. We never had the water boatmen back again. We do get pond skaters, so interesting things. HV soon, Colin. Well, yeah, I will need probably to get the pump up to work, although the old HV I could access it with a 4-meter scaffold pole with a beam on from home down here in the depths a bit. Why are you still running 4 mega symbols? That seems a lot of RF. I'm sure there's a reason. Moving on to your temporary amp mic, I recognise a stealth amp there, and the Modbus controller looks interesting. I reckon there's probably an article in that. So it has an application for us who want to do that sort of thing, and having the built-in ADC, I guess you're probably using the forward reverse refs on the amp itself if you've got one of those nice ones. But that would be good if it is. I think mine's only got a forward indicator. The stealth amp, not that I use that, it's only a 20 watt one. It's not quite enough. Okay, and better temperatures in Cornwall. Well, that's nice. I mean, that's a nice temperature. I don't mind the dry heat. So I worked in the desert for a few years and I loved it. Never got bored of the dry heat. But today absolutely slaughtered me. It was just like too stagnant. So I didn't get a lot done this afternoon. Glad your PC is back. I am imminently facing having to upgrade this 10-year-old i7, which was top spec when it was built. I mean, it's still okay. I mean, it's software encoding DATV easy, and I think it's running the virus checker or the backup program currently while I'm on air, so it's not doing bad. But as you say, Richard, it's got hundreds of apps on it, bits of software that I haven't used since forever, and I run Norton on it, and it keeps offering to remove 2,000 plus redundant items. I think, dare I say yes, go ahead and do it, or dare I not? Anyway, one day it's going to have to happen, I guess. Keith, that's a lovely looking beach, and I guess the sea's probably warming up now as well, quite significantly. And thanks very much for the offer of running a net. Yeah, it's not on a permanent basis. I think what would be great is if we have like not quite a timetable, but you know, like a booking slot where people can say, you know, if I can't do it, then someone else can sign in and they can do it, and so on. Not hard, as you can tell. You just need a reliable station, he said, touching wood, hanging on by skin of teeth. Okay, right, according to my list, everybody's signed after 1 over except Colin, who wasn't in his work attire, so I suppose he's going to have another go. Mike, possibly, and Michael, and Keith, and then back round to me to wrap things. So with that, that's interesting, Mike. Tell us more about that. There's a whole load of temperature sensors, aren't there? I've got one on my QRP Labs Shack clock, and interestingly it hadn't been configured as per the data sheet, and it was jittering all over the place. It just needed a 100 nanofarad capacitor across the power pins at the device. So that's all encapsulated now and hanging out the window on the end of a bit of wire. Anyway, round to you, Colin. Should you be there? Otherwise, Mike. So G4KLB to pick it up from G4XAT in the BATC Thursday evening net. Over.
Okay, thanks a lot, Gareth. Excellent, very good indeed. Let me. Okay, thanks a lot, Gareth. I should have a mute button for that, really, shouldn't I? So. Anyway, there we are. We got buttons for lots of things, but not everything. Ah, dear, oh dear. Right, okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, thanks to Rob for the information about the camera. That's going to be very interesting. So I'll have a look at that. Richard mentioned a Winter Hill update. I wasn't aware of that, so that's something to look into. I must confess, I haven't touched these two since the day they were built, and they're used every single day. Well, every time I'm in the shack. So, been absolutely brilliant. But so that's very good. And okay, Roger, on having similar issues to me with someone's signal. Although I must confess, Dave's picture is vastly improved. I think he uses the Jetson Nano, I think. And it's something between the two that there's a difference. But obviously Simon's software doesn't suffer from it, and nor does anything else. I think it's only Winter Hill. That's all I've tried with anyway. But I don't have it with anyone else, so that's okay. I keep meaning to set up some alternative, but I never do. So, okay. Oh, okay, Richard, understood. Okay, maybe the ride. Yes, indeed. Okay, yes. Well, we got we did our own. Have I got a better one? No, I'll have to show you one that's stuck in the repeater. But yeah, we've got buttons on the receivers here. So there's two rides in here. I suppose I should open the door really. But it doesn't matter. You can see the idea. But we've done our own little buttons. We got a few extra little things on there as well, which are unique to for our needs. And then we got the conventional receivers down there. So yeah, there we are. That'll do. You could see it better if the door was open. But there we are. It is. Oh, the video. Oh, did it? Oh, okay. Let me just. I may have. Okay. I can understand why that is, I think. Okay, I may have. Oh, yeah, indeed it has. That's because I've. Can I remedy this in time, I wonder? I'll try it. And then otherwise I'll just abandon this camera. Okay, let's just see if we can. There we are. Okay, thank you, John. Excellent. There we are. Okay, yeah, I've got a dodgy cable. There we are. So, yeah, there are the rides, the two rides, for 23 cents and 70 cents, and we've got the little buttons on the front there. So, yeah, they're looking a bit scraggy now, actually. But looking through they're prettier than that if you don't look through the glass window. But yeah, that's that one. So yeah, maybe that, Richard. Okay, I should have a little look-see. Okay, yeah, probably that. Right, okay, that's good. But I say Winter Hill's been brilliant. I built another one for using in the van, and it's just been fantastic, really. Particularly when I'm doing demos, which is I sort of seem to do a reasonable amount. And what I do is I put another screen on the outside of the van so that people can see it, and I put some speakers on the roof and such like so they can hear the audio. And that works really well. So then people can see 4 pictures, and then I can go into one if I want to, etc., etc. Using Rob's viewer, and I sometimes use a viewer from EWJ as well, because that comes up with the countries on it, which is tells you where it decodes the call signs and tells you where they're from, which is useful for people that don't know what's what. So I've used that a few times as well. That works really well, actually. Right, okay then. So that's that. Did I have anything else to say? Well, I've been searching. I did have one of these die on me. Where are we on that camera? One of these little dongles go down on me. And then I put my spare one in, which was perfect, which was absolutely perfect when I put it in the drawer. It had been running. It had probably done about 3 years' work. And I thought, well, I know that one's good, so I'll take that one out and put the other one in. And I had a sound fault on the one that's in there now. And then I put the spare one in, well, this one actually, and it had a video fault, and I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd tracked down a source, and I'd mentioned it before, a source of alternative ones, which allegedly would have had the right chipset, but alas, I have to report that they did come, and unfortunately they don't have the chipset. And in fact, they have a chipset that I've never seen before, but Dave has, because on the wiki it lists that particular one as not useful for anything. So so I got 3 of those now. Anyway, but I have found another brand new one, which I'm about to test, which I think is that one. A brand that I've marked them up for what they are. You can't see that because it's not going to want to focus, but yeah. So I'm not desperate, but I always like to have, for anything for SQ, always has a spare ready to go. Well, when I put this one in, then I won't have a spare, will I? So I'm going to find one. I have taken the precaution of buying one of the BATC ones, which work for a lot of things, but they're not 100%, and there's an issue of the lip sync potentially reading between the lines. But that would be better than nothing, so I guess I have got a spare in that respect. Right, okay, that chipset has not been made for a very long time. It looks like these ones that have been made by the same people. Obviously they couldn't get the chipset anymore, so unfortunately I found this secret number, and everyone was saying that has got the Fiscali chipset in it. But so I thought I'd happened upon a marvelous thing, but alas, alas it didn't. So there we go. Right, you can use it as a paperweight, yeah. Very good, Siggy. Yeah, you can use it on a Windows PC. They'll work fine. They'll work. There's many other applications you can use that one for, actually, but I could. Oh, I think that's because I got the windows open. I could hear a dog barking. Because I got the windows open. Yeah, I'm having. It's a bit of a meltdown here. I'm absolutely just. It suddenly seems to have got an awful lot warmer. But there we are. Anyway, nothing from HV yet. So I'm having a look. So I'll need to. I guess it's done me a favour, and I've discovered that one of my. It's quite an old 23 Sems preamp has died. But I've had them go before, and I'm hoping that the front end stage I can't get the parts for anymore. But I suspect, as I've got no gain from it at all, I suspect that it might well be the second stage that's gone, or it might have been struck by lightning sometime in the last 4 years, possibly. So we shall see. Right then, okay, that'll do for me, I think. So G0MJW to take it, G4KLB. Okay, I wasn't quite ready.
Right, thank you, Colin. Sorry to hear you having dongle trouble, but yes, well, okay, interesting net as always. So good to hear everyone. Keith, I left a link there on the chat for that part. So information on that. Yes, Gareth, you get all sorts of different temperature sensors. Or you could just use a thermistor and drive it off one of the voltage outputs on the board maybe, and measure the put it in series with the resistor and just do the calculations in software. That would work as well. That's what I do actually on the 77's PA, the dual palette one that I made a while back. It's using one of those what are they called, thermistor things that you bolt on. Anyway, we'll see. But a TMP36, I'm sure I've got some somewhere. They're easy to use, 5 volts in, and just measure the voltage on the analog to digital converter, and it won't be too far out. Right, Simon is here, so I'm going to pass it around to Simon, not Michael. So not you, Michael, but Simon. And that's Simon, by the way, not Michael. Just make sure that's been understood. Hopefully I'll see a few of you at McMichael. And if not, maybe catch you next week. I think I'm around next week. So, G4ELI, G0MGW.
Dee diddly dee, and here we go. Nice, very nice test card that, I think. Right, I never remember to unmute properly. Gareth, yes, regarding computers, very briefly, what you value for money in the last 10 years, what you can get today is staggering, absolutely staggering. And I'll talk a bit more about that. I'll come on next week. Then I probably won't be on for a while. And I'll explain what I'm putting together. But yeah, absolutely amazing. The reason I've actually come on for the second round is I'm interested in H266. It's not part of the DVB-S2 spec because it came out well after it. We also have AV1. So I'd be interested to see what's going on. And from what I've read about it, the algorithm itself is more complex, so it requires more CPU, and there may be a lot more latency involved. That would be interesting. I can't use it immediately myself. I'd have to write the encoders and decoders myself to fit in with the Microsoft Foundation classes, but I could do it. But from what I've read, it's not really suitable for this type of application. Some of the people inside Microsoft are very much against it. But for videos and things, then yes. But there is currently within Windows no direct support for H266, and that thing you can see down there is a wretched nuisance. Because the audio quality is so good from you speaking, he is under the impression there's someone else here, and when there's someone else here, he starts craving attention and playing the nuisance. So with that, over to Spain. Interested to hear on your 266 experiences there, Mike. So EA7KIR G4ELI.
Well, you're going to be disappointed, Simon. I think maybe you misheard me. I received some 266, but there's a big but in it. And the reason I got a bit excited is that I know people have been experimenting with 266, and occasionally on the band scope, you know, on the wideband, you see these narrow signals, and you know, quite often they are 266 with people trying, usually at very low symbol rates like 33 and things like that. But this one was at 250, and much to my surprise, the receiver, which is the BATC receiver, you know, with the Longmind software for decoding the data, actually locked. And that's never happened before. When I've tried to see what happens, it's never locked. And here's a still. It's it wasn't up very long, this, so I was quick with the iPhone and I just grabbed a snap of it. But that's, you can see I'm tuned in on that, and it's from, if you can't read it, it's from someone in Greece. I can't pronounce his name, but he's SV1HEP in Athens, Greece. And as you might be able to see, it does actually decode to 266, and you can see the PIDs and whatnots there, QPSK. So I was stunned and amazed about that. However, the picture, which I just have to change slide just a second while I get my act together. Go on, change. There, that was it. Now maybe he was transmitting that, I don't know, but that's the picture I was getting, and it is animating. This is obviously a photograph, but and there was a bit of colour in it as well, but it was animating and propagating from left to right very slowly. And I don't know if that means anything to you, but the amazing thing is there was audio. He was playing music with it at the same time. There was actually music there. So I was a bit puzzled about that as to why it was. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to lock, never mind getting some sort of a video signal and audio, and the audio was quite good actually. So I would like to know why. I mean, I use FF Play to decode, and as far as I know, FF Play doesn't decode 266. I expect it will one day. Or maybe it does. Maybe I've had an update without realising it, because I haven't tried this for some time. So if anybody's got an explanation for that, I'd be delighted to hear why I was getting as much as I was and what I could possibly do to get a bit more. As for transmitting it, that's absolutely out of the question at the moment, because I use a hardware encoder. Very interested in the Modbus mic, and thanks for posting the link. I've had a look at that. It looks really nice, good price as well. I have actually been looking at Modbus as a possible application for myself. The attraction, yes, it would be for my purpose. If it was to be used on a repeater, I'd be thinking that the repeater actually had access to the internet. So that opens up a whole range of alternatives, and Modbus is one of them. You know, RPC is another. There's a whole host of things you could use. Unfortunately, to do it securely involves certificates, and if you want a proper certificate, it's about £80 a year or something. But you can generate your own certificate, but then it makes logging in and logging out, well, logging in inconvenient, as it were. Anyhow, that's way into the future, but Modbus is interesting, especially as PC hardware doesn't have GPIO connections, and you can buy, as you probably know, you probably got one, you get a little dongle thing with USB connector on one end and a screw connector on the other end, which is your RS485 or whatever, or 232, whichever it is, and they're very cheap. So that's how you get it out of the computer. Because I'm fed up with Raspberry Pis, I really am. I've had my fill of them, and the sooner I get away from them, the better, actually. So that's it from me. So if anybody knows anything about 266, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Simon, but people are doing it. I promise you, they are doing it, but obviously not on the net. So where are we going now? We're going to Keith 6U6EFB from EA7KR on the Thursday evening net, and thank you, Gareth, for hosting the net. Thank you.
looks like elsewhere. Probably taking something for his headache. Excuse me while I turn the audio down. Right, okay. Thanks everybody. I think it was last October-ish when the 2 metre NOV for UK amateurs wasn't renewed. So we thought, well, why don't we try reduced bandwidth on the multimode section, and we found we could send really rather good pictures in 100 kilohertz of bandwidth, but I cannot remember what I used to receive it with, unless it was OpenTuner. Actually, I wonder if it was OpenTuner. I'm fairly sure it was a dead simple. You know, I mean, I have used FF Play, but I don't. It doesn't spring to mind. Okay, well. You know, how good do we want the pictures to get? I think the main drive really should be to stop using so much bandwidth. I mean, a bit like MP3 made a lot more audio fit on a CD. I mean, I wouldn't notice any difference compared to listening to the genuine 8-track original or whatever it was recorded on in studio quality. But you know, people say they can tell the difference. But at the end of the day, you know, think where we've come from with P1 pictures, where you're struggling to squint and work out what you're looking at, and here we are. I mean, I've had instant lock almost from everybody this evening, including John, with a much smaller signal, like 3 dB, 2.5 dB above the noise floor of the satellite, if that. Anyway, just to round things off, this is what I work myself hard with, fitting a kitchen. Not here, I did this one a while back, I'm not doing it again here. So those are wall rails, courtesy of IKEA. It's an 1897 built house, so those cupboards on the right are original. They're keeping them. Hang on, if I do the right thing it would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Okay, so there's the wall cupboards and the base cupboards and doors on, and that's a table. That's custom fitted to this space, and it was made from a much bigger table. There's the heaviest piece of wood imaginable. It's jointed, made in Malaysia, so I suspect it's probably rubber wood. 25mm thick, absolute beast of a piece of wood. And that's the worktop scraped off and re-oiled, and looks very nice too. And just the other side to do. So with that domestic note, that's not an 80-metre moment. We need another band if we're going to talk about kitchen improvements. Thanks everybody for your contributions, and I hope your sun-based headache goes soon, Keith. And see you all further down. It should be me next Thursday, but as I've said already, volunteers welcome. Pop me a message or stick it on the forum, and we'll sort something out. See if I can't get some sort of year planner. That's the word, a year planner sorted out. So with that, 7-3s everybody. See you next time. G4XAT is closing the Thursday evening BATC net. Thank you very much for your contributions, and good night.